The content in this magazine could contain references of topics and difficult subject matter that may be triggering. Please honor yourself, inner knowing, and proceed with whatever help or guidance you feel is intuitively aligned. Welcome to Sovereign Magazine Podcast. I'm Nicole George, CEO and founder of Sovereign, and I'm so happy you are here. Today, we are joined by Arin Dosh, our in-house astrologer, who is here to guide us through the cosmic energies of the moon. Arin helps us understand how the celestial rhythms can support our journey to embodying our sovereign selves. Let us dive into what the stars have to share with us today. Keep listening to hear all of the intuitive messages meant for you. Hello. Today I have the privilege of reconnecting with Arin Dosh, who is our amazing astrologer here at Sovereign Magazine. She specializes in traditional and Hellenistic astrology, and her work blends ancient techniques with clear, grounded guidance. She offers natal horary electional readings with a focus on timing, remediation, and meaningful client support. With a background in counseling and social work, she approaches astrology therapeutically, so she helps her clients meet life with more self-understanding, sovereignty, and soul. Welcome back, Arin.
Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So we're talking about our February full moon issue, which is about courage and confidence, and I'm going to let you take it away.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, our theme is so appropriate for this full moon because it is in the fiery and courageous sign of Leo. So this full moon is on February 1st at 13 degrees of Leo. Leo, of course, is the sun sign, so the sun rules the sign. And every year when we get this full moon in Leo, we get a bit of a paradox or a paradoxical tension, I think, because the sun is as far away from his home sign of Leo as he can get over in Aquarius. He's in his detriment, we say in Hellenistic astrology, in Aquarius, detriment or exile. We call it. He's very far removed from home. He's a stranger in a strange place. But yet we have the moon shining so bright with so much fire and sort of heart here in Leo this time of year. I always like to look at this full moon as sort of a bit of sun in what is the winter for us here in the northern hemisphere, here at the beginning of February. What else can we say about this full moon? Well, context always matters. And along with the sun in Aquarius, we also have 4 other planets there. And that will be Pluto at 3 degrees, Mars at 7, Venus at 19, and Mercury at 21. And we talked about last time how all of these planets have conjoined Pluto in Aquarius during January. So we are coming out of this period of deep empowerment, truth-telling, collective restructuring, and potentially shedding old identities. And now we're stepping into this courageous expression of authenticity with this full moon in Leo. If we've been in the underworld with Pluto over the last month, this Leo full moon says, okay, now act on what you found down there, right? And this full moon, the next aspect that it makes right after becoming full is in opposition to Venus in Aquarius. And so this will bring up themes of honest connection, vulnerability in community, and giving and receiving support from friends and community members. I think this makes this full moon less about solo heroics and more about opening the heart within a group space. If Leo wants to be brave, Venus in Aquarius wants us to do it together. And then in the background of this full moon, we have a Saturn-Uranus closing sextile. This is a 60-degree aspect Saturn is in the very late degrees of Pisces. He's finishing there. He's been there for about 2.5 years. Uranus is in the very last degrees of Taurus. He's been there for about 7 years. He's also finishing. So this is very mature energy. And this aspect was exact last month in January. But we have Uranus stationing direct on February 3rd, so that further emphasizes this energy of stabilizing breakthroughs, sustainable change. I think ideally it could be spiritual maturity meeting material innovation. And so it's a subtle backdrop, but then we also have 2 more planets of the faster moving planets interacting with Uranus over the remainder of the lunar cycle. So we have Mercury in late Aquarius squaring Uranus on February 5th. And this should bring us surprising news, flashes of insight, potentially disrupted plans, so watch for that, but open minds and shifting narratives. And right after Mercury squares Uranus, he then enters Pisces, where he is in his fall, we say in Hellenistic astrology. This is the sign opposite of that planet's exaltation, is always their fall. So Mercury is very fast moving. Pisces is like an ocean of oneness, right? Mercury is very articulate and specific. He's always about boundaries and looking, the difference between this and that. And again, Pisces is just this like ocean of oneness, right? So think intuitive communication, symbolic, definitely emotional communication. But whatever it is, it's not straightforward. It's more like sonar. And so that was February 6th. Then we have Venus squaring Uranus on February 8th, just 2 days later. So again, this is a bit of a jolt, but concerning relationships, values, aesthetics. It might be a great day to try something new with your aesthetic, but nothing permanent, I would say. This is just experimentation. And there could be a desire for freedom or authenticity in connection. And then directly after, so just 2 days later, February 10th, then Venus follows Mercury's footsteps and also enters Pisces. But Venus finds her exaltation in Pisces. So this is her favorite place to be, the opposite of Mercury. Because if you think about it, I like to think about like the filters that we put on our photos, like it blurs the edges, very Piscean, right? But it makes it more beautiful. So it's very Venusian. So that's one way to think about like why Venus is in her exaltation in Pisces. There's universal love in the ocean of oneness, perhaps too. So Venus is a really lovely energy of compassion, connection, and emotional generosity, softening in relationships and social interactions of all kinds. So that will be a beautiful period during this lunar period. And then on February 13th, really big news, we have Saturn re-entering Aries. So he is completely done with Pisces, where he's been for the last 2.5 years. He will not return for another 28 to 30 years. So we are on to new things. We talked about this in our overview for 2026, because as soon as he enters Aries, he immediately starts applying to his conjunction with Neptune, who's already in Aries. He's sitting at 1 degree of Aries. So this is all happening very quickly. We got a preview of this over the summer, June, July, August of 2025. We need to think back once again and say, what was I doing? What new trail was I blazing? What was I being inspired by? And what structures were dissolving and getting restructured? What was crumbling and what was rising out of the debris, right? Because that's really what Saturn, Neptune is doing. And I think we're going to see that's going to be kind of a theme in February 2026 and in 2026 in general. We're going to see a lot of that. But those are some ideas to think about. We're going to see that energy happening right away. So we're stepping into brand new territory here. And then we end this lunar cycle with Mercury trine Jupiter. We have Mercury at 15 Pisces, again, very foggy, but trining Jupiter, who's in his exaltation at 15 degrees of Cancer. And this is really supportive. It's very emotional, but it could be very intuitive. It's like intuitive insight meets emotional clarity, I think, at its best. It's beautiful for decision making that's guided by your heart and intuition. It's beautiful energy for speaking from the heart, communicating with loved ones, sitting down like over a cup of tea, I feel like, and having an emotional conversation. This is really supportive energy for that, and I think a beautiful way to wrap up the lunar period. If I were to summarize, I would say this Leo full moon, it is about courage, but not about solo courage. It's the bravery of showing up authentically in community and sharing your spark with others and letting your heart lead. It's about shining in a way that helps others shine too.
Thank you so much. Okay, if you are loving these astrological downloads from Miss Arin here, definitely come back for our Aquarius New Moon, right? Coming up.
Yes, it's actually a solar eclipse, so it's going to be very exciting.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay, so if you haven't yet, like, share, and subscribe so that you get all of these messages throughout each month. She'll be back for some more for the next one. Thank you for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with more ways to step into your sovereign self as I begin the interviews with our soul-led entrepreneurs. Subscribe to our magazine and podcast and join our global community for all the magic. Details on how to find your weekly horoscopes or connect with Arin are in the show notes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review. It helps us reach our goal of guiding 5 million to their sovereign selves.